everybody. So today video I would discuss some where, let and const concepts in JavaScript. Okay, so guys, it's a short video so that you can revise your concept. First of all, it is a var in JavaScript. Var example, or we can say var in JavaScript. So what a var does in JavaScript? Where is a function scoped? Function scoped means the value in the downside. For example, it is the first line, it is second, it is third, it is fourth. So the value downside like 15, that will be like the value of a. If I declare value here of a 10, then 20, then 30, then 15, then the value of a will be modified and will be 15. And here if I remodify the value of where variable, which is like I modify it to 8, then the output after console.log of a will not be 15, it will be 8. Okay, so we can say that where is a function scope. For example, here we have a function like this. So what's going on in this? If and then a true and within a function. So here you guys can check that the value of the where b is 50 inside the function. So if I print it on the screen outside the function, it will be still accessible outside the block. This is actually the block, this bracket and this bracket. So if here I can say this is inside block, which if I print it like console log and then the value of b, so it is like inside. Okay, but it is outside and inside, both value will be same 50. We can access it anywhere. Okay, so that's how where works. Now let's see the let example, or we can say let in JavaScript. Okay, so how the let variable works with the JavaScript. Okay, so let is a block scope. Block scope means that, for example, this is a block and here I start it with let. My subscriber, or I will say that it is a variable with the g value and it is like 6. Okay, so if I print it on the screen with the console.log and print the value of g, that will not work. Okay, it will not work, it will never work, just because it is outside the block. But our we can say it is outside of block, so it will not work. It will not work just because it is a block scope. Okay, let is a block scope. For example, let's see here example on the 35th line, which is let x is equal to 10 and let x is equal to 20. So error redeclaration is also not allowed. If it is declared once, then it's declared, and if you reassign it a value, that's allowed. But redeclaration of x in one code, that's not allowed. So you can reassign value. For example, I can reassign it. For example, I can give it another value, which is like 15. Okay, so it's allowed completely in JavaScript. And if I make it output, okay, so in the output it will be 15. Must remember one thing, that the latest assignment will be printed on the screen. So here, that example we already discussed the block or code. For example, here we have if and then we have a function with a block. Okay, so in the block we have y is equal to 20, and then printing on it, it will work, but outside of the block it will not work. Okay, so this will not work just because y is not defined outside block. Okay, that's why it will not give any output, it will give an error. Then at the end we have const example. So const is a block scoped and cannot be changed. Okay, we can say that once you assign it a value, then you cannot even reassign a value. Once you declared, you can run, not redeclare it. Okay, so for example, here z is once declared and you can get output anywhere. Okay, and like some examples is also here, you guys can check it. For example, we have an array, so that modification is allowed, but changing and reassignment, or we can say that redeclaration is not allowed. Okay, so for example, const with the object, we have an object of student which is name Ali and marks 90, so that student marks is 95. Yeah, that's allowed just because it's modifying. Okay, so here we have a summary. Okay, so in the summary, we can say that where is a old, avoid using just because it's an old method in JavaScript like ES5, I think so it is was using. Then let, in the let we use when the value can change, and const we use that like a value can't be changed. So if I remove it, where if I we guys are not using, so we can say that use let when you changing the value in JavaScript, and use const if you are not changing the value in JavaScript. So that's how where let and const works with the JavaScript. So thanks for today, and I would push it to the GitHub if you guys want it, so that you can get it from the YouTube description link. Okay, so that's all today. Thank you so much.